times the 9. So what would be the best 3 things that you saw there and the worst 3 things that you saw there? Once you're not from there, you can say.
We'll edit the worst.
That's a good question.
Or one bad thing if you want.
Let me think.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
I'll try and like mix it up. So good thing, so one of the culture of people there. It's like they're completely open. They want to help. Like everybody is just like so freaking passionate about what they do. So I originally from LA. LA is very LA is very materialistic.
You're gonna be loved in LA, right?
I know. LA is very materialistic, very self-centered, very like kind of closed. Like you gotta be like, my friend's a friend, or else I'm not talking to you. It's very like cliquey, almost is the best term. So like the culture of Silicon Valley is just awesome. Like I just love being there. One bad thing, like I mentioned, is it's very Silicon Valley focused. People there really don't even get outside of the city, let alone like the country. So they don't even know what's going on, like the middle United States, much less like Brazil. And nowhere like do they really have a lot of inclination to. So there's very few, but as a whole, like generally not. Another good thing is, I guess it goes with kind of one of the problems here of trying to get a space, that just the density and concentration of people there is just ridiculous. Like if you're on University Avenue in Palo Alto, you can walk down the street, go to a coffee shop, and there'll be 10 guys working at a Starbucks in one coffee shop. And there's like 20 of them, like all in a row. Like just the amount of, not the density of the city, because the city is very small, but just the density of all.
If you turn on your Foursquare application, you get like, oh my God, everyone is here, and I can check in everyone, basically, right?
You're just walking around.
And it makes it too expensive.
Yeah. And the first day I came to Silicon Valley, I went to this place called University Cafe, if you know where that is.
I've been there.
And I was sitting down and I was on my laptop looking for a place to stay that night. And next thing I heard 2 guys talking about Facebook. And it was Michael Arrington and Mark Zuckerberg talking about Facebook right next to me. And I was like, oh, hey, like, how's it going? I'm talking to them. And they leave. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's really cool.
I think that's probably because that's why your list came from 22 guys to 80,000, right? Did you interview them? No.
I was just sitting next to it. It was literally the first day I went there. Like, the first day I moved. Like, I was like, oh, this is cool. But yeah, just the density of people there is just it's crazy.
But it also makes it easy for you to meet people and go to meetings and all that stuff, right? It's expensive in one side, but on the other side, everyone is very close and easy to meet, right?
Yeah. I guess another bad thing is a lot of people kind of there create a lot of like Me Too companies. Like, oh, like Foursquare's taken off. Like, oh, I'm gonna make.
It's great though. I'm sorry to interrupt you. We don't have that feeling here, right? But we don't see the Me Too, right? We only see the successes being outside, right? Internally, you see because you're there, right? You see the 2,000 Foursquare copies that are around, right? We don't get that because when it gets here, it's like already on the radar and probably for a reason that is not a Me Too, right?
Yeah. I mean, you have the guy, I'm doing Foursquare for dogs or Foursquare. And then,
Foursquare for dogs. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then you guys have the one I'm gonna do like Facebook plus Foursquare plus YouTube plus Flickr plus Yelp and one app. Like it's like you see a lot of like those type of people. In Silicon Valley, it's a very open place, but you're kind of on a timeline. Like if you haven't done anything cool like in a year, like people are kind of like, all right, we're like
that's your time.
It's very like make something cool, make it fast.
Build a ship.
Yeah, build it quickly.
Do you feel pressure for that?
Yeah, kind of. Well, like I said, even we're a media company. So even us in Silicon Valley, we're like a little misunderstood. I'd say New York is probably more media-centric than Silicon Valley.
Mm-hmm.
So you also see pockets of like that. So like New York City is better at like fashion, finance, media, versus Silicon Valley is more like front-end tech, internet. And you see certain areas, like Chicago is probably better at like finance, and like Groupon came out of Chicago. Texas is a whole different scene. So even within the U.S., you kind of have like
different
companies
in different places. Right?
And even San Diego and Boston are more biotech and medical. It's just like the fragmentation there. But Silicon Valley is very product, very internet, very kind of app centric. And if you're not doing that, which we're not kind of doing that, you're kind of a little bit on the outside.
But you have the list, right?
Yeah.
You know the right people that want to know the right events.
Recently, talking about SD, Startup Digest, recently you started doing or looking for other areas such as experiments with jobs and other types of listings.
Yep.
Where do you see in the foreseeable future? Where do you see that is going?
Yeah. Putting me on the spot. So very big picture. Very big picture. Essentially, we're connecting like the world startup community through what we call like informational media. So it's not news, it's not events. It's not analysis. It's kind of the information. So information we consider is right now events, jobs, and we do some sort of education, a little bit of education. So we're pairing that up for an entire industry. So right now we're pulling together the startup industry, the worldwide startup industry, through these very simple kind of media properties. The big picture and dream is we really like to productize that as much as we could, and then start to take that to another industry. Imagine if we had that for social media, for mobile, and you could even get outside medical. I don't know how far we can take this out, but kind of stay within the tech industry for now, and essentially be kind of the informational media company for all these kind of different.
And talking to Mike Ayrton already? No.
Yeah, we know.
Wow, I met one investor yesterday, and in the startup weekend yesterday, and it was in the bathroom, and I said, "Hey, how are you? Congratulations on the news." And he said, "Which one?" I said, "Oh, there's more than one, right?" I only knew about one, and so he had to tell me the second one that I didn't know yet. So. You laughed, right?
Yeah.
So you meet Mike Ayrton once in a while.
Yeah, we did before I came here, actually the day before I flew to Brazil, we had a party at TechCrunch for our 1-year anniversary. So that was cool. We kind of made a mess of their office, sorry guys.
It's already a mess. I've been there. Like, there's a bed just in the reception, like big bed. I said, wow, it wasn't the wall, but anyway, it was there, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the web and the future of some startups. What are you seeing coming up?
Yeah.
What's the news? New stuff coming up. Not the Me Too, Facebook, Foursquare stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely the trends are like, mobile, like, the sort of app revolution and taking that, making things more app centric. And social games, virtual currencies, it's just an incredible business model. You're selling free stuff for money. An incredible business model. So you're seeing a lot of companies kind of position themselves around those sort of trends, especially the mobile side of things. Only the Apple App Store only took off very recently, and like people are making full living, if not full companies on top of an app store. Just think about what was the game company? Oh, Angry Birds. It's actually started out of Finland. Yeah, Angry Birds started out of Finland. Which they have multi-million downloads. So yeah, I'd say that's some of the more interesting kind of big general areas.
Do you recall some names that you would?
Also another one that I just thought of too, another trend is kind of the, I don't know how much you have here, but the kind of dying of education and the starting of kind of almost privatized education. That's kind of a more under the radar one that not a lot of people are looking at now. There's a company called Udemy, which is kind of, it's a platform for you to allow you to teach anybody anything. You almost like a blog, you kind of just put together like your class and course and your video and materials, stuff like that.
The one that won yesterday was kind of that. It's the startup weekend yesterday. Yeah. It wasn't just an idea for now, but basically on that.
At least in the U.S., like the government system is kind of failing. Like we're in a ridiculous amount of debt, and like just the school system is not.
Oh, we have a huge opportunity here in that sense.
Like the school system hasn't necessarily kept up, so you're seeing a lot more of like education being privatized, which is kind of interesting. That's more of an under the radar trend, and I'd say like Udemy, Edufire, with Sold, and a couple of those companies are kind of the interesting ones in that space.
Did you see anything in Brazil that caught your attention?
There's the one.
Today. It's not a fair question, but
Yeah, the BYMK, BYMK. It's like a social shopping site, social comparison. Like what, 1 million or 2 million active users, which is pretty big. What was the other guy? He just got funny. I'm gonna want his name.
PE2? No.
I
can't remember.
Compra-3. COMPRA.
Oh no.
Compra-3.
Yeah.
No, there's a guy yesterday, long hair, that just got funding.
Marco.
You know,
Marco, yeah.
What was this company?
Yeah, Parte2.
Yes.
Yeah. Mobile image identification.
Yes. Yeah. That's kind of an interesting one. Yeah, that was not. Yeah, most of the people at the start weekend are still very early, and they're kind of doing their first idea.
It's earlier than the early, right? They're just getting the whole spirit of the idea, the energy, right?
Yeah. So.
Do you have more one question?
No.
So let me ask Chris for you to finish our conversation here with two things. One, a message to the Brazilian folks that are watching us.
Yeah.
You just live in the Silicon Valley. You have all that spirit of the community, the shared spirit, the shared mentality. And the second one for the American guys that are watching us also. Or the worldwide guys.
Okay.
CNN. So tell first the American ones, what they should, think about Brazil or look about Brazil or whatever what's your call.
So for any American entrepreneurs, Brazil is a huge opportunity, and if you're not thinking about this or any international places outside of the city you're in, you're missing out on a lot. Definitely be thinking about how you can get your product or service or whatever you created somewhere else outside, and especially the BRIC companies, including Brazil. There's 200 million people here, and it's very hard to comprehend that number. But when you look outside and you see almost New York City skyline for miles and miles and miles, you kind of see firsthand wow, there's a lot of people here. So you better be thinking of that. Us too, us including. And for Brazilian companies, kind of same thing. There's such a huge opportunity here. Take advantage of it. You guys understand the culture, speak the language. You guys have 10 times an advantage of anybody that would come in from the outside. So instead of looking from the outside and saying who can we bring or what companies can start here, how do we get that? Thinking about what can you do that you're seeing from the outside and how can you apply that to Brazil. And I don't care if it's just copy a social game, make it for the Brazilian market or kind of tweak it to make it kind of more culturally adaptive. And you guys understand the market here. So entrepreneurship is not hard. Just make something, make a product, make it happen, keep going forward, get traction. People will notice. If you have a game or an app or a site that's getting millions of users, people will notice. So go out there and just do it.
Good, excellent. So we just finished our conversation with Chris McCann from Startup Digest, Pierre Schurman, angel investor and entrepreneur in Brazil, and myself, Bob Warham from ResultsOn. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
We're going to spread that out to the world pretty soon. I think tomorrow we're going to be live with that. And I hope you enjoyed your next few days in Brazil.
Cool, thank you.
Excellent, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.